Vera's heart hammered like a drum as she stepped into the grand hall, the soft notes of the wedding march filling the air. Every eye turned toward her as the sunlight caught the crystal chandeliers, scattering diamonds across the marble floor. Her dress, ivory silk, cascading like a waterfall, clung to her curves, flawless as always. But inside, her chest felt hollow, as if someone had stolen the ground beneath her. She forced a smile, waving at guests who whispered in awe. Today was supposed to be perfect. Today, she would marry Wang Lei, the man she thought she knew, the man she had promised her life to. But the air was thick with something she couldn't name, a tension that made her stomach twist. The ceremony began, vows exchanged in that antiseptic, golden-tinged hall. Wang Lei's hand was warm on hers, his smile polite, charming, almost too perfect. Vera wanted to believe in it. She wanted to feel the love the photographers expected her to radiate. And then, a small voice cut through the music, innocent and trembling. "Mama?" Vera froze. Her eyes darted toward the aisle. A little girl, barely 5, with dark curls and wide, searching eyes, was running straight toward her. Gasps rippled through the guests. Vera's smile faltered. "Mama?" The child repeated, holding out tiny arms. Her brain refused to process. "Mama?" Wang Lei's confident smile wavered. He stepped forward, hand extended, attempting to control the situation. "Vera, she's just a friend of the family." But before he could finish, Wang Jun appeared at the edge of the hall, his expression stormy and unreadable. The uncle, the man she had hoped never to see again. Powerful, dangerous, and inexplicably familiar. "She's telling the truth," Wang Jun said, his voice low, dangerous, but firm enough that it silenced the entire room. Vera's knees threatened to buckle. The whispers surged into a roar in her ears. A million questions collided in her mind.
How? Why?
This couldn't be happening. Not today. The little girl reached her, tugging at Vera's hand. "Mama, please." And in that instant, everything Vera thought she knew about her life, her future, her wedding, shattered into pieces. Wang Lei's smile was gone. His eyes, once warm and confident, were clouded with something unreadable, shock, anger, maybe fear. And Wang Jun, he stepped closer, each stride deliberate, his presence commanding, as if the entire hall bent to his will. Vera swallowed hard, the silk of her gown clinging to her skin like a second thought. Her dream wedding, the perfect life she had meticulously planned, was crumbling, and there was no one to catch her. No one, except the little girl in front of her and the man she had never truly stopped remembering. "Mama," the girl whispered again, and Vera felt something inside her crack, a strange mix of terror, longing, and recognition. This was not how it was supposed to happen. But life, Vera realized in that moment, had a way of rewriting every promise she had ever made. And as Wang Jun's eyes met hers, dark, commanding, and impossibly familiar, Vera understood. Nothing would ever be the same again. The wedding bells rang, but to Vera, they sounded more like warning chimes, a herald of chaos, desire, and secrets waiting to be unearthed. Vera's hands shook as she clutched the bouquet, the white roses suddenly feeling heavier than the world. The hall had emptied in a flurry of whispers, cameras snapping like gunfire, and yet Vera felt like she was floating in a nightmare. Her eyes stayed fixed on the little girl, her daughter, they said, but she couldn't remember. How could she? She had never given birth, had she? Wang Lei stepped closer, his jaw tight, face pale. "Vera, explain," he demanded, but his voice cracked despite his attempt at authority. Vera opened her mouth, then closed it. Her mind was blank. I don't." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I don't remember this. I never had a child." Wang Jun's dark eyes never left her. He approached slowly, deliberately, as if every step had been rehearsed in some dangerous playbook. "You did," he said simply. 5 years ago. You couldn't raise her, but she's yours." Vera's knees went weak. Her vision blurred. What are you saying?" "This," Wang Jun said, gesturing toward the little girl, who clutched his hand tightly. "This is your daughter, Vera. And I've kept her safe, waiting for the day you could face the truth." The words hit her like a punch to the chest. A daughter? Hers? Impossible. She tried to remember, but the past was a fog, scattered fragments of memory she couldn't piece together. She had no recollection of pregnancy, of labor, of holding a tiny, wailing infant in her arms. The room seemed to spin. Wang Lei's eyes were sharp now, controlled fury simmering beneath the surface. "You're saying this is true?" he hissed. "After everything this? On our wedding day?" "Yes," Wang Jun said evenly. "And it doesn't change who she is. She's your child. You have a choice now, face it or deny it forever." Vera's throat burned. She wanted to scream, cry, run. But the little girl stepped forward, tiny arms reaching for her, and something inside Vera stirred, a strange, aching pull she couldn't explain. "Why does this feel familiar?" Wang Jun stepped closer, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. His presence was overwhelming, commanding, impossible to ignore. He didn't speak, but the weight of his gaze pressed on her, heavy and intimate all at once. I can't," Vera whispered. "You can," Wang Jun said softly, dangerously. "Because she's your daughter. And because you need to remember who you really are." Vera shook her head. Memories refused to come, shadows and fragments that made no sense. And yet, a part of her ached with recognition, her heart, her blood, her soul pulling toward this man she shouldn't want, but couldn't help. Wang Lei's hand tightened on her arm. "You can't. She's my family, Vera. This changes everything." "No," Vera said, her voice trembling, her gaze flicking between the uncle and the child. I need to understand. All of this. Why didn't I know?" "You weren't meant to know," Wang Jun said quietly, his dark eyes locking with hers. "Not until you were ready. But now, it's too late to go back. The truth is here. And so am I." Vera's heart thumped violently in her chest, equal parts fear and something she didn't want to name. She didn't remember giving birth. She didn't remember loving this child. But staring at Wang Jun, feeling the intensity in his presence, she realized she might never forget again. The little girl tugged her hand again. "Mama, please?" Vera swallowed hard. And in that moment, between confusion, shock, and a longing she didn't understand, she knew one thing. Her life, her wedding, and her heart had been rewritten in the blink of an eye. And she was powerless to stop it. The next morning, Vera woke to an emptiness she had never known. Her room was silent, the sun spilling through the curtains, but the weight of last night's revelations pressed down on her chest. She hadn't slept. She hadn't eaten. Her mind replayed the little girl's wide eyes, her trembling voice calling out, "Mama?" Vera sat on the edge of the bed, hands trembling as she tried to make sense of it all. She didn't remember giving birth. She didn't remember holding a baby in her arms. And yet, every instinct in her screamed that the child was hers. Her thoughts were interrupted by soft, deliberate footsteps outside her door. The doorknob turned, and Vera froze. "May I come in?" The voice was calm, deep, commanding. "Wang Jun." Vera hesitated but nodded. He entered, carrying the little girl in his arms. The child's dark curls were tousled, and her big eyes lit up when she saw Vera. "Mama," she exclaimed, stretching her arms toward her. Vera's heart lurched. She swallowed hard and rose unsteadily, holding out her hands. The little girl ran into her arms, and the warmth, the weight, the unmistakable feel of her body pressed against hers. It was like a jolt straight to her soul. "Oh," Vera whispered, tears brimming. "Oh, my baby." "You don't remember," Wang Jun said softly from the doorway. His eyes were unreadable, but there was an intensity there that made Vera shiver. Vera rocked the little girl gently, holding her close. I don't know why I don't remember," she admitted. "But I feel it. I feel you. I just don't understand how this is real." The child leaned against her chest, resting her head. "It's real, Mama. I'm here. I'm yours. Wang Jun stepped closer.
She's yours, Vera.
And you'll remember. In time. You just need to let yourself feel it first. Vera glanced up at him, searching his face. There was something in his gaze, a mixture of authority, pain, and something softer, more intimate. She felt herself pulled toward him in a way she shouldn't. And yet she couldn't stop. Why didn't anyone tell me? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. You weren't ready, Wang Jun said. And some truths are dangerous when the mind isn't prepared. But now it's time you face them, and we'll do it together. The words were calm, but Vera felt a shiver run through her. Together. The way he said it, it carried weight, possession, and something more. For the rest of the morning, she stayed with her daughter, learning her little quirks, the way she laughed, the tiny hands that clutched Vera's fingers, the way she whispered, "Mama," every few seconds. Each moment was overwhelming, each touch a jolt of emotion Vera didn't understand. She was falling into motherhood at the speed of a hurricane, yet the warmth it brought was undeniable. By afternoon, Wang Jun appeared again, standing silently at the doorway, watching them. His presence was heavy, protective, almost territorial. She needs you, he said softly, his eyes darkening. Not me.
You.
Only you can give her what she's missing. Vera's chest tightened. I want to. I do. But it's so much. I don't even remember. You'll remember, he interrupted, stepping closer, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from him. I'll help you. I've kept her safe all these years. I can help you understand. But you need to trust me. Her gaze flicked to him, heart racing. The anger, the fear, the shock, they were still there. But under it all, a pull she couldn't name. The little girl tugged at her sleeve. Mama, read me a story? Vera smiled, a shaky but genuine curve of her lips. Of course, my love. As she read aloud, Wang Jun leaned against the doorway, watching quietly. The bond between mother and child was forming, small but unbreakable, and though Vera didn't realize it yet, it was changing everything. Not just her life, but the dynamics between them all. And in the corner of her mind, a small, dangerous thought stirred. She shouldn't be drawn to him, she shouldn't, but something about him feels inevitable. Across the city, Wang Lei was plotting, furious, and increasingly desperate. The man Vera had thought she loved was beginning to realize that some secrets were bigger than marriage, and that the woman he thought he had claimed might already belong to another. By evening, Vera sat in the nursery, rocking her daughter to sleep, heart aching in ways she couldn't explain. She didn't remember giving birth. She didn't remember loving this child. And yet she couldn't imagine life without her. And as Wang Jun watched from the doorway, silent, powerful, and impossibly magnetic, Vera understood one undeniable truth. Nothing would ever be the same again. Vera paced the quiet apartment, her daughter sleeping peacefully in the next room, soft breaths echoing like a lullaby. Her mind was a whirlwind of confusion, guilt, and an unexpected, undeniable pull she couldn't name. Wang Jun's words from that morning, low and magnetic, lingered in her thoughts. I'll help you, but you need to trust me. She hadn't wanted to admit it, but every time she looked at him, every time he was near, her heart betrayed her, racing faster than it should, her palms growing warm. She hated the feelings she shouldn't feel, yet wanted more than she would ever admit. The knock on the door jolted her. She opened it to find Wang Jun standing there, a calm storm in his posture, the city lights behind him casting shadows that made him look almost otherworldly. You're thinking too much, he said softly, stepping inside. You're exhausted. Come with me. Where? Vera asked, a tremor in her voice. Anywhere but here, he replied, his hand brushing against hers in the gentlest, most intimate touch. The warmth of his palm against hers sent a shiver up her spine. Vera's breath hitched. I can't. You can, he said, voice low, deep, commanding. You need this. We both do. Before she could respond, he pulled her close, the familiar scent of him, the mix of cedarwood and something unplaceably intoxicating, filling her senses. Her heart pounded against her ribs, her body betraying every word of resistance she tried to muster. Their foreheads touched, slow and deliberate, and in that heartbeat, the world shrank until it was only the two of them. Vera's hands trembled, unsure where to go, and Wang Jun gently cupped her face, his thumbs brushing against her cheeks. "I won't hurt you," he whispered, barely audible. "But I can't hide what I feel either." Vera's resolve melted, her lips brushing against his in a tender, searching kiss that ignited something deep within. It wasn't urgent, it wasn't desperate, yet it was undeniably passionate. The kind of kiss that lingered in your bones, that made you forget everything else. She wanted to pull away, but she couldn't. She wanted him, even if she knew she shouldn't. Hours later, Vera lay on the couch, heart still racing, Wang Jun sitting close, his hand resting on hers. No words were needed. The silence was enough, filled with the electricity of what had passed and the tension of what was to come. But peace was fleeting. Her phone vibrated violently. "Wang Lei. Again. Vera, we need to talk.
Now.
I can fix this. I'll do anything." Her stomach turned. The messages kept coming, each one more desperate than the last. Threats, bribes, pleas, each designed to pull her back, to make her doubt the past few days. And it wasn't just texts. He showed up at the apartment building later that night, leaning against her doorframe, dripping confidence and arrogance. "Vera," he said, voice low and dangerous. "You don't belong here. You belong with me. Don't forget that." Vera stepped back, fury and fear flaring. "You're insane. You've done enough. Leave me and my daughter alone." He smirked, dangerously audacious. "You'll see. I always get what I want." Wang Jun appeared behind her, silent until now, eyes darkening with controlled fury. He placed a firm hand on her shoulder, the heat of his body grounding her. "I suggest you leave," he said calmly, every word carrying the weight of a man who didn't need to raise his voice to command obedience. Wang Lei hesitated for the first time, and Vera realized, with a thrill she couldn't suppress, that Wang Jun wasn't just protective. He was her shield, and maybe more. After Wang Lei stormed off, Vera exhaled shakily, leaning back into Wang Jun's chest, the warmth of him comforting and intoxicating. She let herself relax, just for a moment, letting the intensity of the day wash over her. "You're impossible," she whispered, half scolding, half admitting her surrender. He chuckled, the sound low and dangerous, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I don't want to be easy for you. I want you to want me." Vera's heart raced, knowing she already did. And in the quiet aftermath, with her daughter sleeping soundly nearby, she understood something terrifying and thrilling. Wang Jun wasn't just part of her past. He was becoming the center of her life, the anchor she didn't know she needed, and the only man who could protect her from the chaos that was closing in. But the war with Wang Lei had only begun, and Vera's heart, already divided between past and present, desire and duty, was about to be tested in ways she couldn't imagine. Vera paced the quiet apartment, her daughter asleep in the next room, soft breaths filling the air. The past few weeks had been a whirlwind. Confusion, heartbreak, and the magnetic pull of Wang Jun had left her dizzy, but finally, she felt a sliver of control. Or so she thought. A knock on the door made her jump. She opened it to find Wang Jun standing there, calm, commanding, and impossibly magnetic.
"We need to talk," he said.
"It's time you know everything." Vera nodded, heart pounding. He led her to the living room, hands brushing against hers in a grounding touch. The little girl peeked out from the nursery doorway, curiosity sparkling in her eyes, and Vera held her close, feeling the bond they had been building grow stronger every day. Wang Jun's voice was steady, but dark when he began. "The reason you don't remember giving birth, it wasn't an accident. Wang Lei staged it." Vera froze. Her heart stuttered. What do you mean?" "He's always been obsessed with you," Wang Jun said, jaw tightening. "When you refused him, he couldn't accept it. So he orchestrated the accident, the one that made you lose your memory. He made sure you forgot everything, even the child you carried, because in his mind, If he couldn't have you, no one else would. Vera's hands shook. He did this? He, my memory, my daughter. Her voice cracked, tears spilling over. He's insane. He is, Wang Jun said softly, pulling her into a protective embrace. And you're safe now. He won't touch you again. Not while I'm here. The truth hit her like a wave, burning anger and betrayal through her. Her ex, the man she had once loved, or thought she had stolen years of her life, manipulated her mind, and tried to erase the very part of her soul she held most dear, her child. Vera's tears flowed freely now, a mixture of grief, rage, and release. Wang Jun held her, whispering, "You're not alone. You never were. We'll fix this together." Later that evening, Wang Lei showed up again, thinking he could reclaim what he had tried to steal. But Vera had changed. The moment he appeared in the doorway, his arrogance met with her newfound strength. She refused to back down. "Vera!" Wang Lei shouted, desperation and entitlement lacing his voice. "You belong to me." "No." Vera's voice rang, sharp and unyielding. "You don't belong in my life or hers. You're obsessed, dangerous, and finished. Leave." Wang Jun stepped forward, his presence like a wall of steel. "Step aside, Lei. This ends now." Wang Lei's fury collided with Wang Jun's controlled intensity, but the outcome was inevitable. Vera's ex, faced with the power of the man who had always truly belonged by her side, faltered. His threats, his manipulations, they were meaningless now. "Vera, I can fix this. I'll do anything." Wang Lei started, but Wang Jun's hand brushed Vera's gently, a silent promise, and Vera shook her head. "No," she said, eyes blazing. "You can't. You never could. I have my life. I have my daughter. And I have him." The little girl ran into Vera's arms, and in that moment, Vera felt her heart finally settle. Wang Jun pulled them both close, and the tension of the past years, the obsession, the lies, the stolen memories, crumbled into ashes behind them. Vera looked up at Wang Jun, voice trembling. I love you. Even through everything. I love you." "And I love you," he said, cupping her face, thumbs brushing over her cheeks. "Even when you didn't remember, even when he tried to take everything from you, I never stopped." Her daughter tugged at her sleeve. "Mama, we're a family?" "Yes, my love. Always," Vera said, lifting her into her arms, feeling the fullness of the bond they had built. Outside, Wang Lei's figure disappeared into the night, powerless, defeated. Inside, Vera, Wang Jun, and their daughter, safe, united, and bound by truth and love, finally breathed freely. The fire of the past, the pain, the chaos, it had all been reduced to ashes. And from those ashes rose something stronger, something eternal. Family, love, and the unbreakable bond between them. Vera finally smiled, truly and completely, knowing that nothing could ever take this from her. Not obsession, not lies, not even time itself. And Wang Jun's hand found hers, holding her steady, a silent vow that whatever came next, they would face it together. Always. Sunlight spilled through the curtains, warm and golden, brushing Vera's face as she stirred awake. Her daughter giggled from the corner of the room, building a tower of blocks and babbling happily. Vera stretched, a soft smile tugging at her lips, and for the first time in years, she felt peaceful. Wang Jun entered the room quietly, his presence steady and comforting. He paused to watch their daughter, then knelt beside Vera, his hand brushing over hers. "Good morning," he said, voice low and tender. "Good morning," Vera whispered, leaning into his warmth. She felt the lingering thrill from that night in the ballroom. The truth revealed, Wang Lei defeated, and the life she thought had been stolen finally reclaimed. "Look at her," Wang Jun said, nodding toward their daughter. "She's thriving." Vera laughed softly, her heart swelling. "I can't believe how much I've missed." She kissed her daughter's hair, feeling a surge of love she had once thought lost forever. "And I won't ever let her go, or you." Outside, The world had moved on, but Wang Lei hadn't escaped justice. His staged accident, attempts to erase Vera's memory, and all his manipulations had been documented and turned over to the authorities. The trial had been swift, public, and decisive. Vera had testified, her voice steady and strong, and finally, the man who had terrorized her life was sentenced. Jail bars could contain him, but they couldn't touch her daughter, or the life she had rebuilt with Wang Jun. The doorbell rang gently, and Vera looked up to see Wang Jun smiling, holding out a small gift bag. "For you," he said, "because I love you and I love our little family." Inside was a delicate charm bracelet with tiny charms representing their journey, a heart for their love, a tiny cradle for their daughter, and a flame for the fire they had survived together. Vera's eyes filled with tears, but these were tears of joy, of relief, of finally being whole. "I love you," she whispered, pressing a gentle kiss to his lips, savoring the safety, the intimacy, the undeniable connection that had been forged through fire, betrayal, and passion. "And I love you," he murmured, arms wrapping around her protectively. "Always." Their daughter toddled forward, tugging at both their hands. "Mama, Dada," she exclaimed, giggling, and Vera and Wang Jun laughed together, hearts full, tension finally replaced by peace. Outside, the city buzzed with life, oblivious to the quiet victory inside their apartment. But for Vera, Wang Jun, and their daughter, the world had finally righted itself. The chaos, the lies, the obsession, they were all behind them. And as Vera watched her daughter run across the sunlit room, Wang Jun close behind, she knew one unshakable truth. The past had tried to break her, but love, courage, and family had made her stronger. Forever. They were free. Finally, truly, and completely free.